Damn, this bitch's kid was ugly as fuck. Like, look at this little nigga, bro. Does he look like he can swim? Not gonna lie to y'all, I really do feel like I could beat this nigga Jason. Wait, it's his mom? Why the fuck would we be beating Jason's mom? Is there one on how to beat Jason? But not gonna lie, I'd really beat the fuck out of Jason's mom just cause, bruh. Like, why you make a dumbass kid that can't swim?
Maniac in the woods. What would you do? A crazy killer is creeping around Camp Crystal Lake, and it's not who you think. I'm here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the Camp Crystal Lake killer in Friday the 13th.
Oh, so it is Jason.
These unsuspecting teenagers are about to find out what happens when a scary campfire story turns into real life. In 1958, at Camp Crystal Lake, a group of campers were sitting around the fire singing and playing guitar.
These niggas think they SpongeBob, bruh. These niggas thought they was singing the campfire song, bruh. Weren't you sick in the video? What video? I was sick in the flag football video, yeah. For like 2 days or a day or two.
Was being proud.
That's kind of her fault for not teaching Jason how to swim. On God.
Counselors decided to sneak off and go make out, but just as they
just
were
like me for real
down to business, the killer caught them with their pants down and murdered them both. It's now Friday, June 13th.
He low-key a freak for that. What the fuck, Jason?
Annie walks into a deserted-looking town on her way to Camp Crystal Lake. She stops in a general store, which seems like the only open place in town, and asks the people there for directions. When she mentions Camp Crystal Lake, everyone looks at her like she's crazy. They seem shocked that she even wants to go there. But an old guy named Enos agrees to take her halfway in his truck.
Enos?
Traveling in that direction. On their way to the truck, another crazy old
Bro, my brother got deployed to Israel.
What the fuck does that have to do with beating Jason Voorhees' mother, nigga? But nah, why'd your brother get deployed to Israel? Like, on some real shit. That nigga in the army? I want that pink do-rag is cute. Can't have it, nigga. Watch the Terrifier one? We can watch it after this, huh?
Going to Camp Blood. He tells her that the place has a death curse and that she'll never come back from there again. Annie and Enos ignore him for now, but they have no idea what's waiting for her in the woods. Driving further into the countryside, Enos asks Annie if she knows what really happened.
Rip to that nigga's brother.
Annie says that her...
What the fuck? No way you just said that shit, bro. What the fuck? He's in the Marines, so they deployed his ass? Oh, bro, those Marine niggas, they be big as hell. That nigga bulletproof, he good.
Boss hasn't told her anything, and that's when Enos tells her that...
Wait, I feel like I should dim the lights, bro. Like, I feel like we should, like, dim the lights. Turn around, shut the lights, put this dick up in your pipe. Dee, 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 dee. Where the fuck is my phone? Let me turn this goddamn... What's it called, bro? Why did Amir text me the streets are calling? The fuck are the streets calling, bro? What the fuck are the streets calling, Amir? Trying to turn this goddamn shit on real quick. Alright, boom. Add a little bit of light to this shit, bro. Add a little bit of light to this shit. He's 6'6", 225. He's big as hell. God damn.
He tells Annie about the two counselors who were murdered in 1958 and a boy who drowned there in 1957.
Little dumbass, learn how to swim.
Unexplained fires and polluted water that have made the camp notoriously impossible to keep open. Despite all these warnings, Annie says she can't just quit her job. She says
you can.
She isn't afraid of ghost stories, but soon she's gonna find out that ghosts aren't the only thing.
Bro, if y'all hear
Annie and Enos to go their separate ways.
If y'all hear like a crazy story before you go out, like camping or something, are you guys gonna keep going there? Like, are you gonna want to still fucking camp? You just realizing you play football.
Off at the entrance to the graveyard. Meanwhile, at the camp, 3 new counselors, Jack, Ned, and Marcy, arrive together.
Hell no, no, fuck no. See, y'all are smart.
Another counselor named Alex.
Y'all are smart as shit.
Quickly assigns them all chores, and they get to work fixing up the cabins. Walking down the road, Annie hitches a ride from another stranger.
God damn, this bitch is a whore.
Even though
this bitch is a fucking slut. Like, how many cars for random niggas is he finna go into?
Driver isn't very talkative, but suddenly they speed right past the entrance to the camp. Annie suddenly panics panics and leaps out of the speeding vehicle into a ditch on the side of the road, injuring her leg in the fall. She tries to run into the woods, but the stranger parks their car and follows her. Annie can't get far on her hurt leg, and just when she thinks she
her leg ain't that
the killer
fucking
pops right out in front of her and slashes her throat with a huge hunting knife. The killer of Camp Crystal Lake has officially claimed their first victim of the summer. That makes one camper down, with 7 more to go. Okay, this is one camping trip I think I'd already rather sit out. Annie
you're weird.
Didn't even
that was a
make it
weak
to the
ass
cabin,
fucking
and it's
fall,
still
bro.
Broad daylight. It does
like they made it seem like this bitch done broke her fucking foot. Like nigga, hell no.
Great detective skills to see that something is off about Camp Crystal Lake. At this point, it should be common knowledge that if you stop in a half-deserted town to ask for directions, and the local crazy guy tells you not to go, you listen to him. Especially if more than one of the townsfolk refer to the place you're going to as Camp Blood, I'd say it's time to look for a new summer job. Take it from me.
But no, she wanted to get to the paper.
Definitely not going to be worth getting mutilated over. Annie should have known just from the locals' reactions that Camp Crystal Lake was the last place she wanted to go. To make things worse, Annie has decided to catch rides.
That nigga was pushing up on her butt. He knew what he was doing. Little freaky ass nigga.
Many areas discourage or have totally banned hitchhiking because of the potential dangers for both the driver and passenger. There really is no way of knowing who you're getting in the car with, and it's much safer to use public transport.
Bro, but when the fuck did Jason get a car? And if motherfuckers know about Jason, why haven't the cops been contacted? Nigga has a whole fucking license plate on his fucking car. The fuck?
Way of knowing who you're getting in the car with, and it's much safer to use public
nigga, is that Eminem?
to get a ride from someone you trust. Since there are no buses to the camp, Annie should have just tried to convince Enos to drive her the rest of the way, or ask her boss for help getting there. But apparently, having never heard of stranger danger, Annie is happy to jump in the car with the first person who comes along. Little does she know that this ride is going to be her last. When the car speeds right past the entrance to the camp, Annie knows that she is being kidnapped. Now, this is an absolutely terrifying scenario, but there are actually several things you can do to escape, and you'll need to act quickly if you want to survive. First of all, if you're traveling alone, it's important to let multiple people know where you're going and when you're expected to arrive. That way, if anything goes wrong, they will be able to contact help right away. I would have asked the owner to call my boss at Camp Crystal Lake and tell them I was close by, and contact the police if I'm not there by nightfall. Now, if somebody tries to kidnap you in a place where there are other people around,
but do you really think if you're fucking alone, bruh, if you're fucking alone and you fucking go up to random motherfuckers and tell them to contact your boss, make sure I get here by this time, this, that, and the third, do you actually think that those random niggas are gonna give a fuck about you? Please stand still. I'm trying to bust a nut, bruh. Yeah. Try to touch me, fuck nigga.
Important thing you can do is scream and fight
you do
back
track
like
2,
crazy.
yes.
This will slow your kidnapper down and call as much
What nigga say?
and kidnap you in a place where there are other people around. The most important thing you can do is scream and fight back like crazy. This will slow your kidnapper down and call as much attention to you as possible, hopefully causing other people
I thought this is common sense.
But Annie is getting in the car with total strangers in the absolute middle of nowhere, so the situation is going to be a little different. In this case,
so they're gonna break down each kill that this nigga did, and then they're gonna say how you could have avoided it. Okay, I thought it was gonna be like a whole in-depth thing about like the lore of the fucking of Jason and shit like that. Okay.
Calmly evaluate
Okay, I'm comprehending.
Try to come up with a plan for escape. Sometimes the best thing to do is just
what's that tat on my right arm? A Spider-Man tattoo.
And hope for the best. Annie may be in the middle of the woods and quickly driving away from the camp, but all roads
what's the
lead
song
to
of the
some
day?
Sort of civilization. And if she had waited
Crystal
a little
Castles by
longer,
Destroy
they might have
Lonely.
seen a gas station or another car, giving her a chance to jump out where somebody can help her. They might have even seen a police officer, which would have been really lucky. If I wasn't in any immediate danger, I would have just waited for the first sign of other people and then jumped out of the car screaming like an absolute maniac.
Which would have made
Everyone
fucking
around would
sense.
come see what's up. Eventually, you may have to fight back against your kidnapper, and the best time to do that is while they're driving.
Bro, I hope to God that I never have to witness being kidnapped. Like, You know how fucking unlucky you gotta be to get fucking kidnapped, nigga? Like, that is some baby ass shit. Like, that's why it's called kidnapping, nigga. Like, that's some baby ass shit, bro. How you let another nigga take you?
He's out and shut off the engine,
Baby
grab
Crystal
the
Castles,
steering wheel
yeah.
and cause the car to crash, or even brace yourself against the door and deliver a flurry of karate kicks to your kidnapper's
Damn,
feet.
okay,
I would've
fucking
waited for
Bruce
the car to
Lee.
slow down, going around a turn, and then attacked the kidnapper and grabbed the wheel to hopefully crash the car into a ditch. If I was really lucky, the kidnapper might even be knocked out in the crash.
Nigga, that's how
Then I
you
could exit
die.
the car safely and run for help as fast as I could. Annie decides to dive out of the vehicle directly in a rocky ditch while traveling at high speeds, which is actually the exact opposite of what you should do here. It's remarkable that she was even able to get up and hobble away from that on her busted leg.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I low-key wanted to try that shit, bro. Like, jumping out of a car at, like, max speed to see if I could, like survive the fall, my nigga. Like, I really do feel like I could, like, survive that shit, bro. Not at high speed, but, like, when it's moving, you know what I mean?
That the killer was able to catch up to her so
I feel like I could land on my feet.
Parks their car and chases you into the woods. It's safe to assume two things: they probably have a weapon, and they probably want to kill you.
W
And that's
shotgun.
gonna be a battle of life or death. I would have tried to trick the kidnapper into thinking I ran one way, and then snuck up behind them and went full Rambo mode. One good hit with a rock to the back of the head would hopefully.
Man, this bitch ain't doing that
upper
shit.
hand in the fight.
Get
After
the
that,
fuck
I
on,
grabbed the
bro.
car keys out of their pocket and just head home. I honestly feel bad for Annie here. She
I
was
mean, your
really
left arm is a
looking forward to
Karapika
her first
tattoo from
year
Hunter
as
x
a
Hunter.
cook, but it looks like her career was tragically cut short. Meanwhile, back at camp, the rest of the counselors are going off and swimming in the lake. They have no idea about Annie's violent murder that just happened only a short distance away. Even worse, the killer is still out there and stalking
That's what I'm
them
saying,
from the
Jay
woods.
Plays.
Marcy and Brenda almost notice that they're being watched, but Ned pops up from underwater and distracts them, giving the killer time to hide. As they're about to get back to work, Ned starts flopping around like he's drowning, but it turns out he was just trying to trick one of the girls into giving him mouth-to-mouth. Later
That's
that day,
real.
Alice
Hey, that nigga just liked me. Hey, clap it up for that nigga. He just liked me for real, bro. Yes, sir. What's up, Latina? How you feeling, man?
in her cabin when she notices a big snake slithering across the floor. She screams out for Bill, who comes running in and is quickly followed by the rest of the group. They all gather around, staring at the snake under the bed, until Jack knocks over a nightstand, sending everyone into
It was good, Jay Blaze. I don't know if I said what's up.
half the cabin before Bill finally chops the snake's head off with his machete. A police officer on a motorcycle pulls into camp and starts questioning them. He says that he's looking for Ralph, the local crazy guy Annie met before. The counselors say they haven't seen him, and even though the officer is still suspicious of everything going on at the camp, he gets a call from his chief and has to
Damn, niggas ain't worried about Annie, bruh.
Can ask any more questions. Alice is getting things ready for dinner, and when she opens up the pantry, she is jump scared by none other than Crazy Ralph.
The
who was
fuck?
hiding there the whole time. Ralph says he was sent there by God to warn them of the camp's death curse, and that they're all
Yo, like, this is a sign to fucking leave, my nigga. That is a sign to fucking leave, bro. Like, why the fuck do I got a crazy nigga in my fucking pantry talking about some goddamn... It was my heaven-sent duty to warn you about this shit. I'll try again and see you next week. Like, what the fuck? I said what's up, Latina, and then you just gonna leave? Like, you don't fuck with me for real.
all doomed if they don't leave now, before awkwardly riding off on his bike. Later on, when they're finishing dinner, Alice notices that the power is out, so Jack, Bill, and Brenda go to start up the emergency generator. Ned sees Jack and Marcy making out by the lake and gets
I wanna
jealous.
fuck you?
He decides to go
So
find
cap.
something else to do, and that's when he
So
sees a
cap.
mysterious figure watching him from a cabin. Ned calls out to get their attention, but the person silently
Damn, how the fuck did that motherfucker get married and killed, bro? Did you, oh no, you fucked that nigga and then killed him? What the fuck?
walks out of sight, and Ned follows them to investigate.
Latina,
Soon,
you
a
don't fuck with me
thunderstorm
for real,
rolls in,
bro.
and
Like,
Jack and Marcy take shelter in the cabin. The place is
it's
pitch
okay,
dark,
bro.
nobody
You're
else
literally
seems
the love of my
to be in,
life.
so they light some
Yeah,
candles and go
okay.
back to making out. They're so
Currently
busy that
on
they don't
delivered
even
for like
realize
the
the
6th
killer is
week
watching
now.
them
Like, it's
through the
okay.
window. And that's not even the worst part, because they have no idea that in the bed right above them is Ned with his throat slashed, just like Annie. That
What the
makes 2
fuck?
campers down, with 6 more to go. Okay, these counselors are clearly underqualified for the job. It's their first afternoon at the camp and they're already goofing off instead of working on the cabins. Since they can't even pay attention to their boss's simple instructions, it's not surprising that they don't see the killer watching them from the woods, even though
I mean, technically they did see him, but somebody wanted to be Mr. Riz guy and come from up the water and want to act like he's drowning. So that could have been avoided if that nigga wasn't just a fucking dumbass.
They're only about 40 yards away. Ned might
It's okay to blush and smile. I'll make you do that.
But playing
I'm gonna take a shower, be right back, I bet.
Actually have serious consequences. Everyone knows the story of the boy who cried wolf, and the lesson we're supposed to take away from that is to never joke about something serious as life or death, because no one will believe you when you really need it.
On God.
Tends to be drowning to get a kiss, which is less funny and more creepy if you ask me. And I definitely
sexual harassment.
Save him next time. Goofing around like this is very inappropriate behavior for a camp counselor who is going to be trusted with the safety of children. Even if there isn't a crazy killer out for revenge, counselors
none of y'all niggas fucking me though. On me, none of y'all niggas fucking me.
Face severe legal punishment. Basically, Ned and the rest of them better start taking this job more seriously. And
that weak ass front that nigga did, bro.
How unqualified they are is their reaction to the snake in Alice's cabin.
Oh God, like why the fuck did they just let this snake stay there? That's a big fucker, bro. Why that shit look like the size of my dick?
Well, this snake definitely seems scary.
I got that motherfucking black mamba, nigga. My fault. My fault, bro.
In general, most wild animals are more scared of us than we are of them.
Why'd you kiss me, bro?
Human unless provoked. Most species of snakes, including those native to the area around Camp Crystal Lake, pose no danger to humans, and it's important to know the difference, especially if you're a summer camper.
Bro, chat, do y'all fuck with snakes, bro? Somebody clip that.
Top and white belly. Plus,
please don't.
Its large size and its behavior of hiding inside a cabin, as likely being a rat snake, a species that is completely harmless to humans. A late afternoon visit from a police officer looking for a crazy guy should have set off some red flags for these delinquents.
I don't fuck with snakes, bro.
Suspicious yet, but a warning like that from a cop is definitely something to take seriously. I would have split everyone up into groups of 2 or 3 and checked every cabin.
Bro. None of y'all niggas is fucking me. Like, y'all can try, but none of y'all niggas is fucking me for real, bro.
If I didn't find crazy,
like, I'm not even in there.
Ralph hiding inside, I would have made sure to lock all of the windows and doors to each building so that nobody could get in. Then, I would have gathered everyone together to spend the night in just one cabin. This may seem like overkill at the time, but there is safety in numbers, and I'd rather have as many people around as possible.
Not gonna lie, Jason versus these niggas, I'm taking Jason 9 times out of 10, bro. And I'm only saying that because this nigga kind of looks calm with his little jolly ass outfit on, bruh. Saint Nick ass outfit, bruh. Christmas light ass outfit, bruh. Like, I feel like this nigga would put the holiday spirit in that nigga Jason, and Jason would just fold under pressure, bro.
Crazy guy was trying to break into the cabin in the middle of the night. Now, when the crazy guy actually popped,
God, bro, like, that don't count, bro. Cause like, you tried to fuck me like 30 different times, bro. So like, that really don't count for real, bro. Like, you went through 30 bodies before you can get to me, nigga. Like, if you came up to me, I would reject it, bro. Cause like, you was a hoe, bro.
I would be going full code red. That's even before he started spouting off about a death curse. Ralph is the textbook definition of a harbinger, a stereotypical character who tries to warn future victims of their impending doom. Annie might have failed to listen to him the first time, but there's no chance that I'd be making that mistake again. After a visit,
nigga, I would, nigga, if a nigga fucking coming up to me like this, nigga, I'm out ski, bro. I'm gone.
It's time to stop whatever you were thinking about doing and try to bail yourself out of the situation immediately.
Just finished the video. W. What's your favorite part?
Get in the truck and leave if you can. Also, I would have called my boss right away and told him what just happened. Death curses and a crazy bum roaming around the campground are honestly way above my pay grade, and I probably wouldn't have taken the job if any of this was mentioned during the interview. I would want someone who gets paid to deal with this, preferably somebody with a gun to show up right away. Either my manager could figure out how to make sure I was safe, or I would get the
cops involved, light skin ready?
Treat me like my team. The officer was literally just there looking for Crazy Ralph. I know they're lazy, but is it really that hard to think to call the police and say, hey, the guy you're looking for was just in my pantry practicing his doom?
Literally, these niggas ain't even think to do that, bro.
And soon not taking things seriously.
Bro, but that's low-key some snitch ass shit though. Like, if I saw Crazy Ralph in my pantry and niggas was looking for him, I wouldn't tell. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't snitch. Like, Ralph just saved my life, bro. Yo, Ness. Did I hit that hoe?
Is going to cost
Nigga, you married me and
The
killed me,
bottom
bro. What
line
the
is
fuck?
that it's definitely not a good time to sneak off to go make out, like Jack or Marcy, or to creep on your fellow campers from a distance.
God, bro, half of these
There are
niggas' deaths is them just fucking going out and trying to fuck something, bro. Like, if y'all niggas wasn't so goddamn horny, maybe Jason would have fucking gave you something, bro.
thousands of people who
Instead
have
of killing
gone
y'all
missing in
asses.
buildings and state parks with no
Niggas out here trying to fuck, marry, and kill
So, when
IRL.
Ned is walking alone and sees a strange figure silently disappear inside a cabin, it probably isn't the smartest idea to follow them in, no matter how thirsty he is for a woman's touch. If it were me, I would have run back to the rest of the group at the first sight of someone watching me. Since I know Jack and Marcy are together, if everyone else in the group is accounted for, then it would be clear right away that we are being stalked by an unknown person. When
Facts.
Jack and Marcy sneak into the pitch dark cabin, they don't even look around to see if anyone else is there. Seriously? I would have checked in every corner and under every bed before I got comfortable in there. This is a dark cabin in the
Bro,
middle
some
of the
niggas don't got
woods in a
street smarts,
horrific
bro.
thunderstorm we're talking about. And these two don't even take a second to check their surroundings before they start
They
making
just get
out.
to
They're too
fucking, bruh.
preoccupied to even notice Ned's dead body in the bed right above them. Ned's jokes never really landed with the ladies, and it looks like this time the killer got the last laugh. Never suspecting the danger they're
that
in,
wasn't
Marcy
funny.
goes to use the bathroom, leaving Jack alone in bed. He's zoning out and smoking a joint when a drop of Ned's blood falls onto his forehead from the bed above him.
Ew.
The killer suddenly reaches out from under the bed, holding
What
Jack
the
down
fuck?
and piercing right through his throat with an arrow from below. Jack gasps for air as a huge spurt of blood comes gushing out of his neck. He's totally dead.
Bro,
And then
one
three
kills that I
campers down,
fucking hate.
5 more to go.
Kills that I hate in like fucking horror films is anything to the throat, bro. Cause I be feeling that shit, bruh. Like, I be feeling that shit. Like, I can't stand when niggas get their shit sliced. I can't stand when they get like something straight through the throat, bro. Like, oh my god, bro. That shit's gross.
Go. Marcy runs through the thunderstorm.
I'd let Jason take my booty hole virginity away. Like, there's no way you're a real person, bro.
Half naked and makes it inside the bathroom building. She goes into
Nah,
the
just
stall
a little
to use the
scratch
toilet
fuck
and
now.
has no idea that the killer is following
Oh my
her
god, when
behind
someone
her.
kicks
The
bros
killer
in
creeps in through
bro,
the bathroom,
like,
looking under all the
Ness, you do not be feeling that shit. You don't got balls, bro. I mean, unless Ness, is there something you're not telling us? Motherfucker got balls, bro.
doors and quickly sees Marcy's feet and flashlight. Marcy hears a noise, and at first she thinks it's Jack, but when she doesn't find him there, she figures that it must be nothing. While she's washing up in the sink,
Nah, I hate that shit too. Like when someone's like when they tell me to lift my fucking head up to like get the hair under my chin, like this shit be feeling weird. And then you got that paper around, bro. That shit be feeling weird too.
here's another
All up
creepy
on your
sound,
Adam's
and
apple and
thinking it
shit,
must be
bro.
her friends playing a prank on her. She decides to really
What? You'll
investigate.
you'll slap your
flings
tip
open
on
the
my
curtains
forehead?
to all of the showers, expecting to find whoever is in there, but she still doesn't see anyone. And that's when the killer sneaks
L
up
Skeeter,
behind her
bro.
with
Watch
an
this
axe.
shit.
At the last second, Marcy turns around and screams, and the killer decides it's time
Oh,
to
yeah.
bury the hatchet right in
Oh
her
shit, hold up.
forehead.
I didn't see
And
Shorty die.
all of the shower. She decides to really investigate this time.
Damn, her body low-key
Flings
bodying.
open the
She got that
curtains to all
hourglass
of the
figure.
showers, expecting to find whoever is in there, but she still doesn't see anyone. And that's when the killer sneaks up behind her with an axe. At the last second, Marcy turns around and screams, and the killer decides it's
Damn.
time to bury the hatchet right in her forehead. That makes 4 campers down.
Bro, I don't know why this just came to my head. But what's that movie where it's like, here's Johnny. What's that movie, bro?
Okay, now these kids are dropping like flies, and if they don't get things under control soon, they'll all be done for.
Damn, this is the
Jack and
first
Marcy
night
are
out
eager to
too,
find
bro. And these
somewhere they
niggas
can
is
be
dying
alone.
like
This
this,
just
bro.
gave the killer a perfect
The
opportunity
Shining, I've
to
never
catch
watched
them
that,
both
bro.
by surprise. The #1 rule of the United States Forest Service Guide for Outdoor Safety is to always travel with a companion in case of any emergencies. In
Yeah, that's a
remote
given.
areas like Camp Crystal Lake, you should stick to groups of at least 4 people. That way, if someone is hurt, one person can stay with
Nigga,
him.
is this Khalid? The send me your location, nigga. When the fuck did he get into acting? Well, we know where this nigga was located at. Camp Crystal Lake, buddy.
While the other
Camp Crystal Lake,
all
buddy.
the killer had to do was wait for the two of them to split up, and as soon as Jack was alone, the killer took that exact moment to strike. I would have gone back to the cabin with everyone else, because it just isn't safe to be out there alone in the middle of the night, even when there isn't a maniac out to get you. Not only is Marcy going to the bathroom alone, but she is doing so barely dressed in the middle of a massive thunderstorm. She's breaking two.
That bitch is actually fucking stupid, bro. But like, what are you supposed to do though? Like, if you're in a situation where the motherfucker you with just got killed, bro, by someone that is in that house, you're not just supposed to fucking stay in that fucking house, nigga. I would run too. Like, isn't that like common sense? Maybe I didn't hear this nigga right.
I would have gone back it up. Stay with him while you should stick to groups of at least 4 people. That way, if someone is hurt, one person can stay with him while the other 2 go for help. All the killer had to do was wait for the 2 of them to split up, and as soon as Jack was alone, the killer took
he did that
to strike. I would have gone back to the cabin.
That nigga on some Batman shit, bro.
It just isn't safe to be out there alone in the middle of the night, even when there isn't a maniac out to get you. Not only is Marcy going to
Will
the
you fall
bathroom
for a
alone,
chicken
but she's
trap?
doing so barely dressed.
No, but I know you take
in the
every
middle of
opportunity to suck some dick. I bet you would take a porn star contract.
From the U.S. Forest Service's safety guide to always wear appropriate clothing and equipment and to be aware of bad weather conditions. I understand that she was only planning to be gone for a minute, but in the wild, you need to always be prepared for emergencies.
Man, fuck that shit. I'm not going to nobody's woods. You fuck with Jason versus Korea.
Right gear to survive a night or two alone in the woods. In her underwear and just a light raincoat, she'll be
I would. Money is money.
Cold in a matter of hours. And quickly
Yeah,
on her way to dying from exposure. She's also not carrying a compass, map, or any.
Bro, do y'all niggas actually use compasses, bro? Be for real.
If she winds up too far from camp and the road, she'll probably be totally
compasses
lost.
are just missed.
If I was spending the night in the woods in a large thunderstorm, I would be kitted out like Bear Grylls everywhere I went, even if it was just a quick trip to the outhouse. I would at least have on appropriate clothing for the weather and a few emergency.
Man, they was getting down and dirty and a motherfucker died, bro. Like, you're going too in depth with this shit, bro.
Now, let's try.
Like, damn, this bitch boyfriend just got killed. She's not finna put on the whole fucking fit, bro.
You thought was empty, and you heard several strange noises somewhere in the darkness. Do you A, go towards the noises to investigate, or B, get the hell out of there as fast as you
bro,
can?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you just gotta investigate the sound to see what it is, bro. Like, there's a lot of times where niggas would be like, bro, if I heard something, I'ma just mind my business. Like, bro, no, you're not, my nigga. You home alone, you hear a fucking boom, you gonna see who the fuck is in your house, nigga. You not finna just, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
If it were me, I would have been sprinting.
Only compass I use is in 4. Alright, buddy, you're done.
It could be an axe murderer, could be a raccoon, but one thing's for sure, I wouldn't.
Why gotta be a raccoon, bro? What's up, Kai?
Find out. But you know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. Or in this case, killed the Marcy. And they're probably going to need some new shower curtains for opening day. Instead of practicing her acting in the mirror, Marcy should have practiced her 100-yard dash. Because the killer
just for her to get tired after that 100-yard dash.
Meanwhile, Alice, Bill, and Brenda are playing a game of strip Monopoly in their cabin when suddenly they're interrupted by the heavy storm outside, flinging open the door. This reminds Brenda that she might have left the windows in her cabin open. So she decides to run home alone and shut them before.
Yo, is she dumb?
So, as she's getting ready for bed, Brenda goes to wash up in the same bathroom where Marcy was just killed. She starts brushing her teeth and has no idea that the killer is there watching her from inside one of the showers. Brenda hears a few too many strange noises and starts to get a little creeped out, so she decides to head back to her cabin with the killer following close behind.
Oh, she set these niggas up, bro.
There's a young boy calling out for help somewhere in the darkness. She grabs her flashlight and walks out into the rain, following the sounds of his cries for help. She stumbles around
fuck that kid.
No idea where
nigga, what? Fuck that kid.
Bright lights flash on all around her, and she realizes she's in the middle of the archery range. Brenda looks around in a panic as she tries to figure out what's going on. The next thing Alice and Bill hear is her screaming as the killer claims yet another victim. That makes 5 campers down with 3 more to go.
So Brenda was just firing practice.
On the generator. And Alice tells him that she's worried because she thinks she heard Brenda screaming. And for some reason, the lights are on.
Now I gotta play the quarry after this, bro.
Range.
I have
decides
to.
go check things out, and Alice goes with
This
them.
is my
They get to
sign.
Brenda's cabin, but they don't find her inside. What they do find horrifies them both: a bloody axe laying on Brenda's bed. They head to Jack and Marcy's cabin next, but they don't find anyone there. Finally, they decide to check the bathroom, and Alice is really starting to get creeped out.
My mic bugging? Is it actually? Let me see it. My mic bugging right. Let me see it. My mic bugging right here. Let me see it. My mic bugging right here. Why the fuck this shit doing that shit? Hold up. Alright, nigga cock. Nigga cock. Alright, boom, we good.
She says that she
To do what? To play the query.
Bill and Alice head
'Cause it's
to the
like-
main
it's like
office to
a-
use the phone, but the
a
door
camp
is
game
locked.
type shit.
Alice has to break the window with a board she found nearby. They make it inside, but the phone is dead, so they won't be able to use it to call anybody. They try to start up the camp truck, but it won't turn over, and with no way to fix it, they decide to stay and wait for Steve to come back. Steve is
Who
on
the
his
fuck
way
is
back to camp to
Steve?
check on them because of the extreme weather, but on the way his truck gets stuck, and he has to hitch a ride from a
Oh, that's
police officer.
Steve.
The officer mentions that it's been a crazy night, and he thinks it has to do with the full moon.
Bro, I
They
can't take
almost
fat
make it
cops
to camp
seriously,
when
bro.
The officer gets a call that he is needed immediately at a bad accident, and so he has to drop Steve off to walk the rest of the way. Steve finally makes it to camp, and just as he does, he is blinded by a bright flashlight from behind the sign.
We were supposed to a
He
few
recognizes
days
the
ago, I
person holding
think.
the flashlight, but has no idea if it
We'll play
actually is
again.
killer. And suddenly, he ends up the next victim before he can even get a chance to help anyone out. That makes 6 campers down, with 2 more to go.
Damn, so how could they
Somehow,
fucking avoid
things
their
just
shit,
keep
bruh?
getting worse for these campers. Brenda goes back to her cabin alone, half
Okay,
dressed,
I'm about to
which
say,
we
where's the
already know
recap?
is a terrible idea. But at least when she hears creepy noises in the outhouse, she decides to leave. If she could
Okay,
just
that's
stayed away
upgrade.
from
The
investigating
other ones
any
would've just
creepy
stayed there.
noises, she might have actually made it out alive. But when she hears what sounds like a little boy calling out for help in the storm, her curiosity gets the best of her. Now,
Like, why would you
Crystal
even
Lake
do
is
that
miles
shit,
from
bro?
Any civilization. It's the middle of the night.
Fuck
pouring
them
rain,
kids,
and
bro.
There were no other groups of people out there. during the
FTK,
day.
bro.
Basically, Brenda should know right away that there is no little boy calling for help, and that it's most likely a trap. I would have been reminded of stories I've heard of a creature called the
But nigga, how Jason grown ass sound like a child, bro? This nigga a voice actor? And what the fuck is this freaky ass picture, bro? What the fuck?
an evil forest spirit which eats humans and can
You
mimic
finna be
calls
fucked
for
up,
help to
Ariana.
attract its victims. Even though Wendigos probably aren't real, just the
My
thought of it
fault, Ari.
alone would have been enough to keep me locked up in that cabin with the lights on all night long.
I don't know why
Brenda
I
is
keep calling you
either too
Ariana.
brave
It is
or
Ari.
too dumb for her own good, and pays the price for deciding to investigate. She might not have been the first pick, but the killer finally decided to give Brenda her moment in the spotlight. Bill and Alice finally start making good decisions when they go together to check things out. Finding a bloody axe and no trace of your friends is not a good sign, and Alice is right when she says they need to call for help. I would have headed straight down to the main office and tried to call someone using the phone. If the
Smart
phones were
nigga.
dead, like they are for Bill and Alice, I would have also tried to get the truck started and drive into town. Since neither of these plans work, the two of them decide to stay put and wait for Steve to arrive in the morning.
Which is smart.
Actually another very good idea.
Which is
The
smart.
Forest Service guide says that the most important thing to do if you have an emergency in the woods is stay where you are and wait for help, especially if it's nighttime and you're in an unfamiliar area. Unfortunately, they don't.
Man, I
realize-
low-key like the nighttime, but at the same time, that shit's scary as hell, bro. Like, I love the nighttime, but that shit really is scary as shit.
that Steve is never going to make it back to camp. Steve is worried about the bad weather and decides to head to camp to check on everyone. He should have checked the weather earlier in the day and spent the night at the camp if he knew the storm was going to get dangerous.
Little
and the roads
dumbass.
would be difficult to drive on. When he finally does make it to camp, he runs.
Do y'all
into
niggas be
person
checking the
he
weather for the
knows,
day?
but who definitely doesn't belong out there waiting for him. at
I ain't
the
gonna lie, I
office.
don't be
I
doing
would've
that
been
shit.
Suspicious right away.
I'm in
The
Texas, so I
person
just think
has
every
no
day's gonna be
business
sunny.
being out in the middle of the night during a huge storm, and especially because of the history these two have, which we find out about later. I would have backed up and
Yeah,
asked
Ness, you
them
look
what
like
they
you
were
checked the
doing
weather.
here instead of getting within stabbing range like Steve decides to do. Sure enough, Steve is killed too, and the future for his camp isn't looking very bright. Back at the camp, the killer sneaks into the generator room and turns
Boy.
off the power and all of the lights.
Boy.
Bill lights some lamps and then tells Alice he's gonna go check on the
Hey,
generator
Ness.
and that she
Boy.
should stay behind and get some sleep. He makes it to the generator room but can't figure out why it won't start and decides to have a look around. Suddenly, Alice wakes up on the couch screaming out for Bill. She thinks about it for a minute and remembers that he left to fix the generator. She starts the gas stove with a match and makes herself a pot of coffee, adding extra sugar from the pantry to try and keep herself
Damn, that's
awake.
hella sugar.
After a few minutes, Alice gets too anxious and decides to go looking for Bill.
Sweetie's
Alice
so
heads
gross.
to the generator room and at first can't find any trace of Bill other than his red raincoat lying in a heap on the floor. She calls out to him a few more times, and just as she's leaving and closing the door behind her, she finds Bill's body pinned to the
Damn.
other side with arrows all through his chest and face. Now she definitely knows there is a murderer out to get her, and that makes 7 campers down. With
Damn,
one
did she
more to
survive?
go. Alice runs
Did she
screaming
survive?
back to her cabin in an absolute panic.
Oh,
She
yeah.
slams the door shut behind her
Oh,
and
yeah.
tries to keep it closed by tying a rope to the handle,
Which is
and
smart.
attaching it to the ceiling.
Smart.
She locks all of the windows and closes the blinds so that the killer won't be able to see in.
Okay.
Then she grabs more furniture and randomly
Nigga, I would've grabbed that goddamn,
against the door.
fire
Even
extinguisher.
With all of this prepared, Alice is still totally freaking out, and she grabs a baseball bat and a big fork from the kitchen
Okay.
to try and defend herself. Just as she is wondering how
That dumbass pitchfork. What the fuck is that gonna do, bro? Motherfuckers is running around with machetes, bow and arrows, and all this extra shit, and you picked up a pitchfork?
possibly to get out of this situation alive.
Is that drink
Brenda's
comp?
dead body
Hey,
comes
Ness, the
crashing
drink is
through the
comp?
window, bloody and tied up with a rope. Alice is having a full-blown mental breakdown when suddenly a car pulls up outside. Alice runs outside thinking it's Steve, but is surprised to see that it's actually a harmless-looking old lady out here in the middle of the night. The old woman introduces herself as Mrs. Voorhees and says that she's an old friend of Steve's. Alice runs to her begging
Oh,
for
what
help,
the
hardly
fuck?
able to babble out a complete sentence. Despite Alice's absolute panic and insistence that there is a killer on the loose, Mrs. Voorhees doesn't seem the least bit concerned. Mrs. Voorhees enters the cabin and sees Brenda's dead body, but her reaction seems totally off. She tells Alice that Steve should have never tried to open this place, and suddenly she launches into a psychotic rant and
The
reveals
fuck?
what's actually been going on. Mrs. Voorhees says that she was working as the cook at the camp in 1957 when her
Damn!
son Jason drowned in the
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. This bitch's kid was ugly as fuck.
that she was working as the cook at the camp in 1957 when her
Like, look at this little nigga, bro. Does he look like he can swim?
Jason drowned in the lake because the counselors weren't paying attention. She says that
What's
they
good, Cardi?
should go, but Alice is totally freaked out and wants to wait for Steve instead. Mrs. Voorhees tells her that Steve won't be coming because she killed him so that he couldn't open up the camp again. Just then, Mrs. Voorhees
Wait,
spirals
what?
to coming because she killed him so that he couldn't open up the camp again. Just then,
So she killed Steve? What the
Mrs.
fuck?
Voorhees spirals into a full-blown psychotic episode and starts chasing Alice around the cabin with a knife. Alice grabs a poker from the fireplace and strikes her with it, knocking her down onto the couch. She uses the
That
moment
weak
to
ass
escape
fall,
out
bruh.
of the cabin, but Mrs. Voorhees quickly recovers and is back in pursuit. Alice runs
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. What, nigga, life or death situation, nigga? I'm not taking no risk. Miss Voorhees would have been bent over.
from the fire cabin, but Mrs.
She would have been bent over in this position. Yeah, getting fucked. With a knife, nigga. With a fucking knife, nigga.
Voorhees quickly recovers and is back in pursuit. Alice runs to the car, but when she opens the door, she finds Annie's dead body sitting in the passenger seat. She screams and runs away right into Steve's dead
Bro, why
body,
do I always
which
put
is hanging
sit,
from a
bro?
tree. Mrs. Voorhees is now close behind her, speaking in the voice of her dead son, and Alice takes off into the forest. Okay, now Alice knows what she's up against, and it's time to put this...
Wait, so these niggas been tag teaming these motherfuckers? Cause there's no way that this bitch does not know that her son is still alive, bruh. Cause that nigga drowned, but clearly there's a reason why motherfuckers is dying at this fucking lake, bro. And it's clear that the motherfucker that was on that bed where bro fucking grabbed his fucking face was not this bitch, cause she was not that strong.
turned serial killer into permanent retirement. Bill and Alex deciding to split up at this point is almost unfathomably dumb, especially after they found a bloody axe in their friend's bed.
And there's no way that bitch is carrying that heavy ass axe, bro. Like, can we be for real?
By now, they should know that the safest thing is to stick together.
Y'all niggas ever wore a poncho?
And decides to go looking for Bill, and she also makes a pot of coffee, which should keep her awake and help her react more quickly to any danger. She finally does find
coffee's
Bill
a myth, bro. I don't give a fuck.
But the several arrows sticking out of his body make it clear that there is a killer on the loose and only one target left. Bill tried his best, but his plan for survival turned out to be all full of holes. Just like Alice, I would have ran straight back into the cabin and prepared myself for a home defense scenario. Experts say that during a home invasion, the most important thing to do is to contact the police, stay quiet, and prepare to defend yourself. Since the phone lines aren't working,
man, what? I'm testing my fucking luck, bruh. I feel like if I was in a situation like that, I would really survive, bro. Like, nigga, I would juke that nigga so bad to where he can have the house, but nigga, the cops is coming for your bitch ass. Why would I stay silent and stay put? Like, why would I stay silent? You know what I mean? Like, it just don't make sense for me to be just standing still or sitting in a room alone. Like, that nigga's finna check it, obviously. Like, what the fuck?
To have to handle this on her own. The rope tied around the door.
You should know your house well, bro.
I would have kept stacking any heavy furniture I could find in front of the door and windows. I would have also grabbed the baseball bat to defend myself.
I would have been on some Last of Us shit.
Pretty useless. Then I would have turned off all the lights, found a spot to hide, and came out swinging like Barry Bonds at the first sight of trouble. When the car pulled up out front, I would have at least waited a minute to see who it was before I took down all the barricades.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I would set up a trap and everything,
bro. My friend's
bro.
dead body was just flung through the kitchen window a moment before. After finding out that the killer was Mrs. Voorhees all along, I would actually be pretty relieved. Now that I know I was only up against someone's crazy grandma, I'd feel more confident in my ability to get out alive. We all know that it's never okay to hit an old
bro.
But after she's violently murdered 7 of
there's no way she's the. I refuse to believe that this little bitch is a fucking killer. Like, not saying that she didn't do it, but some of the kills were just too nigga-like, bro.
Friends, it's time for the gloves to come off. She may be possessed by the vengeful spirit of her dead son, but there's still no way she could take me in a fair fight.
Oh God!
That old geezer right to
like, nigga, kill her ass right there!
And tied her up with the rope I was using to hold the door shut. Then I would have grabbed the keys, stole her car, and drove off, even if Annie's dead body was in the passenger seat. Alice is going to need to get herself under control and take the fight to Mrs. Voorhees if she wants to stay alive. Alice
but what the fuck does she do?
Room and finds an old shotgun, but she can't find any shells. While she's fumbling around in the dark, Mrs. Voorhees sneaks in behind her and turns all the lights on. Alice points the gun at her, pretending it's loaded, but Mrs. Voorhees slowly walks towards her, totally unfazed.
Damn, that bitch is crazy.
Bullets, Alice can't shoot her and just throws the whole gun at Mrs. Voorhees, trying to slow her down. She backs up, throwing any random object she can.
Bro, if you don't just fucking tackle this old bitch,
Alice against the wall and starts slapping.
Yo, getting bitch slapped is crazy. Getting bitch slapped by a grandma is crazy. There's no way I'm letting this fucking 5'6" fucking rat smack my shit like this, bro.
Absolute crap out of her, seeming like she is really enjoying it. She throws Alice through a table, but Alice is able to roll over and get the gun again and uses it to bash Mrs. Voorhees right in the crotch and then straight across her face, knocking her unconscious.
That quilly ass fall, bro.
Mrs. Voorhees wakes up quickly and gets right back to chasing her. Alice hides in the darkness and lets Mrs. Voorhees run by before doubling back to the cabin.
Which is smart, okay.
And turns off
Which
the
is
lights,
smart.
hiding in the pantry where Crazy Ralph was before. She waits for a while until she hears a crashing sound from somewhere inside the cabin. She can see a flashlight through the door and knows that Mrs. Voorhees is in there looking for her. She holds the pantry door shut, terrified, and just when the danger seems to have passed, Mrs. Voorhees breaks down the door and attacks Alice with a machete. Alice grabs the frying pan,
she weaves,
her
okay,
and slamming her in the head, knocking her out for the
now take the machete and kill this bitch.
And Alice notices blood coming from the back of her head, thinking she must have killed her.
No.
down to the lake, and just as she is catching her breath, she notices Mrs. Voorhees sneaking up behind her in the reflection of the water. She knocks the machete out of her hand with the paddle, and the two of them fall to the ground, battling to the death.
Bro, this weak ass fight,
bites
bro.
her arm and bashes Alice's head into the dirt.
No way she lost.
Alice manages to escape and grabs the machete. Mrs. Voorhees stands there horrified, but it's too late for apologies, and Alice slices her head clean off of her shoulders. Her headless corpse falls to the ground, and Alice breathes a sigh of relief. She decides to get in the canoe and paddles out to the center of the lake where she falls asleep.
Like what, bro? Like what, bro? This bitch had a fucking Jeep Wrangler after killing this bitch. All she had to do was get the keys, get in the Jeep, and dip. But this bitch decides, it's about like 3 a.m. in the morning. Let me get on this fucking canoe and go to the middle of the fucking lake and have a good old nap.
Sleep. Okay, that was an epic showdown. Alice fought it out like a true cage match champion, and honestly, I'm very impressed. There's just one more thing I want to add. Even though it was well deserved, I wouldn't have chopped Mrs. Voorhees' head off like that. Think about it this way. When the cops show up tomorrow and find 7 dead campers and a headless old lady, how are things going to look? Do you think they'll believe that the old lady was the killer? I would have knocked her out and tied her up instead. That way, in the morning, she could answer for her crimes. It would really stink to survive all this just to wind up in prison over false murder charges. The next morning, Alice wakes up floating in the middle of the lake and sees a police car coming to her rescue. She looks super relieved to finally be getting out of there, and that's when zombie Jason lunges out
the fuck
and drags be getting out of there, and that's when
look at this ugly ass motherfucker. This ugly ass jit. But wait, how long was this nigga underwater for, bruh? Like, there's no way this nigga turned into a fucking mermaid, nigga. Or merman, bro. Like, there's just no fucking way.
Zombie boy Jason lunges out from the lake and drags her under screaming. It turns out he really was there all along. That makes 8 campers down, and the story is over.
You look like Springtrap on God.
Alice wakes up screaming in the hospital, and doctors rush to her side.
Wait, how did they get her?
Everything is fine now, and a police officer informs her that all of her friends are dead. She asks if the boy Jason is dead too, but the officer has no idea what she is talking about. Then he's still there, Alice says, and looks off into the distance as she realizes that the nightmare might not be completely over. Spooky.
Ooh.
Is that what you would have done? How would you survive Camp Crystal Lake?
Man, I would have been survived that bitch. I wouldn't even been there. The fuck? Us black folk know damn well, bro. You hear something crazy? You don't go, nigga.